Hey there, good looking to join me for this knee-friendly lower body workout. In this workout, I'm also going to show you how you can activate your glutes. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of us, myself included, have a hard time activating the glutes, which can lead to a lot of issues, especially with the knees. Now, you'll need access to a wall for this glute activation series. In addition, for the actual strength portion, you'll need a pair of heavy dumbbells. For reference, I have a pair of 25s. And then a lighter pair of dumbbells, and that is simply to elevate your heels up on for a heels elevated squat. Now make sure you stick around to the very end because I also have a core finisher for us because, well, if our core isn't strong, everything's going to break down. And if you're watching this in real time, this is day 4, baby cakes, of our strong and sassy challenge. All right, let's go get warmed up. Before we get started, hey, if this interests you, maybe try this workout without your shoes and socks. I personally have been working on strengthening the bottoms of my feet because they do get weaker as we age. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to give it a try. So push pause and take those shoes off. For those of you that are with me, I want you to, as we work with no shoes, make sure that your heels or your feet don't cave in. So I want you to pick up through the arches, and that automatically is going to get our knees in a better positioning. And unfortunately, that's what happens with age, is our arches collapse because we lose the muscle tone in the bottoms of our feet, creating havoc from the feet all the way up. All right, let's warm up into the hamstrings and glutes. Feet hip width apart, picking those arches up, hands light behind the ears, hip hinge for me and come forward. So we will be doing a deadlift pattern in the workout. So I really want you to muscle memory what a hip hinge is so that we are hinging through here, our hip, instead of through our waistband, our low back. So that's the difference. Here's a bad hip hinge. Here's a good hip hinge. Elbows are pulled back, slight bend of the knee. Let's do 4 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your feet shoulder width or maybe a bit wider. Push your seat rearward, almost like somebody's placed a chair behind you and your bum is trying to seek out that chair. Knees are tracking with the toes. Pick those arches up. Good. So as we work through this series, I'm going to give you different options. And remember, if you are sensitive, the knees are sensitive, always work with what feels best for you. Last 4, 3, 2, 1 more. 1, working deeper into the hip joint. Give me some big hip circles, balancing on that one leg, opening up the hip. 1 more, other side. So we will be using the wall in a couple of creative ways, if I don't say so myself. And the wall, let's do 1 more, is going to help for the first exercise really brace our core so we get the movement through the glutes. Let's do some single leg kicks for 6. Unfortunately, when we do glute exercises, sometimes the glutes don't fire up. So by using the wall, we're going to make sure that they do. 1 more, other side. So our first series of moves will continue with the warm-up. Let's do 2 more here. 1 more. Excellent. All right, if you want to grab a sip of water, I apologize. The camera angle is not going to be best for this, but grab a sip and take a look. You got 20 seconds. We're going to place our hands against a wall and then have the arms just slightly bent, feet hip width apart. Now we're pressing the hands in as hard as we can on the wall. Tightening up through the core, stiffening the core while we squeeze the glutes up high. So let's get set up. 3, 2, 1, and glutes. So as we come up, I want you to really tighten your glutes. Feel it in your glutes. Heels are close to the bum. There's not a lot going on in the hamstrings. And we're pushing the wall, really stiffening into the trunk region. We have 4 rounds of these, okay? So I really want you to understand how to fire your glutes. Time. All right, just rest it out. We've got half, our work time's 30 seconds, our recovery's half the time. But yeah, I really want you to feel and understand how to activate your glutes. So it will help you with this series and go, as well as in real life. So press against the wall, squeeze the hips up. Can you get up a little higher? Whew. Feel the bum muscles. Now feel both left and right cheek. For me, I have a harder time firing up one side. So I want you to make sure you can feel both cheeks squeezing. And that may mean that you keep your bridge up there in the air and squeeze each glute and really sort of put your mind into it. 2 more rounds. Yes, you're going to feel the quads a bit, but if you're feeling them a lot, that means we aren't getting that glute activation. So we need to put our focus further into it. Here we go. Glute squeeze. So again, elbows are slightly bent, pressing my hands into the wall, fingertips are just a little off the floor. Woo, heels are close to my bum, hip width apart, and I am squeezing my glutes, getting them up there, feeling my left and my right cheek, and then lowering down. All right, we got 1 more to go, and then we're going to move into the side of hip, which is a really important muscle to keep strong for knee health. Catch your breath. We're moving in 3, 2, 1, and lift. If you're in bare feet, make sure you aren't collapsing in those arches. Pick them up. Last one here. Should be feeling a little toasty down the lower body. 2 more. Last one. Nice. All right. Lie on your side for me. Doesn't matter which side. Straighten the top leg. Bend the bottom leg. Hip forward, press that top leg back, lead with the heel and lift up. Good, we got a side leg lift. Now I want you to lean forward, and you're leaning forward enough that you actually have to place that top hand in front of you to keep yourself from rolling all the way. And then we want that leg pressed back in hip extension, and we want to lead with the heel, not the toe. Working that outer hip, or what we call your gluteus medius. Good for hip stability, good for low back, good for knee tracking. Now I want you to hold it up here and pulse it for the 15-second break. And then we're going to lower it down and get into a clam before we do the other side. So it should be getting warm. Keep that leg pressed back. 3, 2, 1. Bend both knees, feet together, lift that leg up. Now, as we lift that leg up, we're not rolling onto that bottom glute. So we're still keeping that hip down as best we can. Woo, and feeling those outer hip muscles. So ideally, if we had a wall behind us, we would have both feet against the wall, the hips and the shoulders. 1 more. All right, other side. So you should be feeling that. If you're not, bravo. You got glutes of steel, my friend. All right, remember, hip forward, leg back, lead with the heel, and lift. Now this one's going to feel a little tired, and you might think, oh gosh, I'm weaker on this side. Actually, no, because it does brace when we're down on the mat. So you could potentially have a weakness there, but most of the time I just find it's because we were bracing. 3, 2, 1. Now let's keep that leg up there. Lead with the heel. Don't turn that toe. And give little pulses for 15 seconds, and then we'll move into clam. And we should be effectively warm by then, and we can move into our strength circuit. And lower down, knees together, bring them in front, keep the feet together, just open up that top knee. Just let that head rest on that bottom arm. Woo! Feeling the heat in the hips. One more here. All right. Woo! Rock yourself up. Come into a standing position. Maybe grab a sip of water, shake out those hips. As mentioned, we're going to move into that strength circuit, so we're going to need your dumbbells. Okay, super quick sip of water on your end. We need those lighter dumbbells to get them set up. Okay, because our heels will go on them. So let's get them set up. And if you place your heels on them, your feet are shoulder width or wider. All right, so let's leave those aside because that'll be our last exercise. Grab your heavies. Okay, and we'll move into a kickstand deadlift. So feet hip width. Bend, just mirror me, bend the one, put as much weight on the other leg, hinge like we learned in warm up, and drive up. So I got minimum amount of weight on that leg I have bent. It's just slightly kickstand behind me. I'm using that main leg. For me, it's my right. For you, if you were mirroring me, it'd be your left. As we come down, pushing the bum rearward, hinging through the hips, abs are tight, picking up through that arch. Remember, not letting that arch fall. All right, so there we go, kickstand deadlift. So let's do the other side. So kickstand that leg. We have 40 seconds of work, 20-second recovery, so we should be lifting heavy. And these are also big muscles, okay? So here we go, hitting the hamstrings, glutes, and some hip. Hinge forward, drive up through the hips, come on up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good. So, woo. Now, I've mentioned this in the past. For me, what starts to fatigue first is my grip strength. All right, holding on to the 25s in each hand. Get a little tiring. So we're gonna let them go in about 20 seconds, but we will use one. Take this slow and controlled, especially if you are lifting heavier. You want that strict form. You want that hip hinge and release. All right, one dumbbell only. Now we're gonna put ourselves up. Our heels are gonna elevate. This is gonna make our squat pattern easier, especially on the low back. Quite often we can't squat deep because we have tight ankles, and that causes our pelvis to come under and creates havoc with the low back. So let's hold the dumbbell here. Heels are elevated, just the heels. Lower down as low as you can, but see advanced people, if you can get all the way down, drive up. Good, do it again. So if you do have really sensitive knees, halfway might be there for you, but I need you to keep working on that, because the less you move your knees, the less you're going to be able to. So I need you to keep moving them. A lot of people tell me they can't squat, at which point I do ask them, how the heck do you go to the bathroom? All right, there's a lot of everyday patterns where you do a squat. So don't be freaked out by the word squat or lunge if you have sensitive knees. Time. Okay, if taught correctly and done correctly, they are the best for your knees. Let's grab the other dumbbell. Second set, we have 2 rounds. So I just want you to mirror me. We're gonna bend that leg, work your right leg. Nope, your left leg. And hip hinge, whoo, and drive up. Good. So bend the knee. Good. Shoulder blades are pinched. This becomes a bit of a mid-back exercise too. Woo, because that back wants to round, and you're using your mid-back muscles to make sure it doesn't. Abs tight, slow and controlled. You see, I'm going really slow. Last couple of reps. One more. All right. So we've got the other side. Pick up through those arches. Kick the other leg slightly behind you. And again, you're off of the heel, dumbbells in front. Hip hinge, come on down. Soften in that knee that we're working and drive up, pushing through the heel, lifting all the way up. Halfway there, we move into that heels elevated squat. See if we get one more good looking rep in. Here we go, one more. And release. All right, heels elevated squat. Now, if you're not going down all the way, you might feel comfortable just with a regular squat. Play around with it. You may also be more comfortable no weight. All right, you play around with what's going to work best for you, but I do want you to challenge yourself. So for you, if the challenge is taking it into a deep squat because of mobility in the knees, then get rid of the weight and focus on that. I would rather see you try to get all the way down with no weight than only go quarter of the way with weight. Now we're going to use our wall for the next series of moves too. Really good moves for the knees coming up. One of them I stole from my physiotherapist. Let's get one more in. All right, dumbbells off to the side. I want you to try this one with no weight, and then if you want to, by all means, place a dumbbell in one hand. I want you to mirror me, okay? Take a leg up on your wall and press your foot into the wall. Deal? All right, you with me? Okay. Now, bend this leg, hinge forward, and drive up. So it's kind of like a lunge, but we have to really push with that back leg, working into the glute more on this front leg and into the quad on this leg. Now, if you can, come across and touch the outside of that foot. Now, it becomes a bit of a balance drill as well. The entire time, you're pushing that foot against your wall. Good. So if you want to add a weight, you would add a dumbbell in this hand first and try it, and then maybe a dumbbell in the other hand. Time. I am totally cool without dumbbells. All right, so now we've got the other side. So again, just mirror me. Feet start hip width, step that foot back, press it into your wall, and you may even need to go forward a bit to give yourself some room. Now bend, hip hinge, pushing the toes against the wall. Good, that feels good. Are you able to come down, touch across outside of that foot? Woo. Let's do one more. Woo. Oh boy, hopefully you feel that in the glute. I'm not the only one. All right, we're going to move ourselves using the wall for a wall sit. This is a really good isometric drill to hit the quads without any movement or with little movement in the knee joint. Bring yourself against your wall, slide yourself down, thighs parallel to the floor, slide your chin in, back ahead against the wall, shoulders against the wall, hands here. Advanced people, get up, grab a dumbbell and hold it, okay? I need you to challenge yourself. We're here for another 30 seconds, and then we'll take it back to the wall lunge. Draw that belly button in. I personally don't need a dumbbell. Wall sits get me every time. My thighs are on fire right now. Here we go. We release it in 3, 2, 1. Yes. Woo. All right. You ready for round 2? Yeah, neither am I. Okay, so just mirror me. Feet are what? Hip width. Step back with that foot. Press it into the wall behind you. Come down. Start with that. Feel it. Feels good. Now come down. Touch the outside of the foot. The entire time you're pressing your foot behind. You could use the back of a couch or the edge of a couch, to press if your couch is heavy enough and you're not going to move it. Or the back of on on a stair is what I meant to say. Sometimes you got to be inventive, don't you, when you work out from home. One more. Woo! Okay. Other leg. Now this is our last portion of the lower body, and then we're going to move into the core, because if this isn't strong, nothing's going to get strong in the body. So I needed to finish off with core. So feet are wet, hip width, step that one back, press it into the wall, come down. Good. Now for those of you that are part of the challenge, in our core series, we're going to work on shoulder stability and strength. Because this first week, our focus is bulletproofing your shoulders. So we've been doing something a little every workout, and it will continue even with a lower body workout. I just snuck it in with some ab work. Next week's series of moves, we're going to bulletproof your low back. Last two. Whew, one more. Ooh, that burns in the glutes. All right, so we've got that wall sit, pushing ourselves against the wall. Okay, so get the feet far enough forward. We don't want those toes shooting, or those knees shooting past the toes when we get down there. All right, slide down, thighs parallel to the floor. Back ahead against the wall for me, please. Shoulders against the wall. Whew, and just breathe. Grab that dumbbell if you need. Do you ever find a workout that, especially a strength workout, and it's too easy? Guess what? That's on you. You need to lift heavier. Focus on challenging the muscles. Build up all those dumbbells you have in your workout room. Dumbbells never go out of style, so you're never wasting your money buying more dumbbells. Woo. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. All right, let's head down to a plank on the forearms. Now we're going to add protraction and retraction to hit into the shoulders as well. For those of you that have been with me in the challenge, you're familiar with this. So let's start on the knees to begin with. Elbows under shoulders, palms flat on your ground. Now push the ground away, and now bring the shoulder blades together. Good. Push, bring them together. Now if you want to go into full plank, try it, but we're not moving the hips, okay? This is coming through the shoulders. Well, we also get a really good core workout. We have 3 core exercises, 1 round only, so we're almost there. I keep looking for a spider. If you were with me yesterday, I was still on the mat and a spider came scurrying out from some corner. Time. Whew. He's now been relocated to waterfront. All right, elbow underneath the shoulder. Moving into a side plank because it's such a good core and shoulder strengthener. Let's stay on the bottom knee. Lift the hip up. Take this top arm and I want you to bring it down and then fly it up. When we fly it up, see if you can go past the body, but you keep the body here, so you're not rolling back with the arm. By all means, you can stack the feet if you want to increase the intensity. Breathe it. Try to stay out of that bottom shoulder. One more here. And other side. Last exercise. All right, so let's stay on that bottom knee. We want to get the base first before we layer on. Elbow under shoulder, that's your setup. From this position, you lift the hip up, and then I want you to lift yourself out of that bottom shoulder. Line your hips up so your hips aren't back. Bring your arm in front and open and close. And then from there, if you would like to increase the intensity, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, pardon me, and hold. Keeping those hips up high, staying out of that bottom shoulder. Yes. 10 more seconds. And release. Woo! Good job, you. All right, let's give it a stretch. What do you think? I think so. Take it down. Bring your arms in a T position. Feet are just hip width apart. And let's just windshield wiper the knees side to side. This feels really good on the low back. If you shouldn't be doing a lot of twisting, then don't drop your knees all the way. Just go a little bit. Keep supported on the mat with the lumbar spine. Now let's drop them to your left. Left ankle on top of right outside knee and hold. From here, let's turn the head and take a look at the right fingertips now and hold. Two more breaths. Back to center. Readjust. Things might get shifted as you drop. Now let's go to the other side. Right ankle over top of the knee. Turn your gaze to the left fingertips and slide those hands so they're lined up with your shoulders. And back to center, feet planted, extend your left leg straight up, get into that hamstring, back of the neck is long. As you draw the leg towards you, if it starts to shake, I want you to let it go. And if this feels good, feel free to straighten the other leg. Now, if you've straightened that right leg, I want you to bend it. And now cross that left one over. So like you're sitting cross-legged, you're wearing a dress in a fancy restaurant. So now from here, bring both knees into the chest, hands underneath, grab on to the top shin there. Now, if you have problems doing this, grab what you can, just keeping those legs crossed. And I think you'll agree wherever you are, you're going to feel that left glute. Let's release the left leg, extend the right one. Start with a slightly bent knee, and then the left leg is bent as well. See how that feels? Back of the neck is long. If you want to, then extend the left. I had a pedicure. I know, super random. But anyways, I don't know if you do the same thing. I just keep choosing the same color. I should really try something different. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you always pick the same color? All right, bend your left. Let's take that right leg, cross it right over, lift it, grab onto whatever you can. Stretch now into that right glute. I'm notorious, though, for doing the same thing. I've been eating the same breakfast for, since the beginning of COVID, so 3 years ago. Holo's Oats. It's a Canadian company. Yes, I know I can make my own overnight oats, but it's much easier using their overnight oats. For those of you that want to look it up, H-O-L-O. Holo's. I love them. Our brand manager bought them. She hated the texture. So I wouldn't buy a whole box, maybe buy a few and see what you think. But I have been eating them every day for 3 years. Am I bored with them? Nope. Same with my toenail color. I know what I like. I stick with it. All right, release on up. Enough babbling. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Listen up, couple of things here. You can help this YouTube channel if this is where you're watching it. You can help it with the YouTube algorithm by clicking that thumbs up. Second, if you've been doing the YouTube workouts for a while or even just periodically, you can help us to keep this YouTube channel going by joining us on Patreon. And if you are part of the challenge, hey, make sure you head to the private Facebook community we have set up for Over 50 Fitness and let me know what you thought. And let me know too, do you always choose the same toenail color? Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next workout. Bye. That is right. This is knee friendly and we are going to get it on, hitting the thighs, the hips, the glutes, as well as finishing off with an ab finisher. How many times can I say finisher? And for those of you watching in real time, this is day 4 of your short and sassy. That's what I was going to say. That's my haircut. Short and sassy. Not my challenge. All you need is one pair of heavyish dumbbells. For reference, I have a pair of 25s, in addition to another smaller set, and those dumbbells are simply to pop your heels up for a heels elevated squat. Now, you also need access to a wall because I'm